Sorry.
Order is going to be framework. Well, actually the language K on top, and then framework. And cap K.
Okay, language, framework, cat.
Everyone ready?
Yeah.
First on the link, I don't have to do much work here. Cross life and cross six, that it was used as an adjective. There's no fucking way that this is going to have any offense on this on this straight round. Next on to the framework page.
Even so, they don't solve patriarchy better.
Even so, they don't solve patriarchy better. They use the word
K-solve
fuck.
better.
Huh?
K-solve.
K-solve better because we're actually going to call the root cause. I'll get more of that later. On framework, we are the prerequisite. Not that side. We are topical. We haven't they haven't confronted this valid. That's why the app ballot is key. And they say they restricts funding. But first of all, they haven't confronted this valid, meaning that they have no solvency. Political recognition comes first, and prove the fairness debate. We granted them annual link to restricting drones. They have detention in a cyber opportunity to armed forces. They don't have any offense on this flow. And they say switch side debate. First of all, we are not IR. We're political recognition and the top lap solves. We are the root of the top. We are actually pretty much just read the. And we pretty much read the resolution. How are we not fucking topical? And we're focused on changing people's minds, not winning. I mean, that's the point that why we're here, not because we want to win some ballot. And we specify ending the violence against the. And they say they don't know what we're they say that they have ground loss, but they have failed to recognize, they have failed to point out any ground loss that they have this specific ground loss, how we have spike out of something, how we have how this debate become unfair to anyone, and also crossed by the skew of it. This is an independent reason to vote affirmative right now. One, because they have read this, because they have continued reading essentially 9 minutes of why we shouldn't be in this debate round, is a reason to vote affirmative. They have completely excluded from this debate space by telling me I can't run this, I can't talk about this, even if I want to. On to, they say we are the and also say that we are the precursors to political action. That means the animals have to be recognition of, and they claim that. And they extend the group exclusion caused by the work and that we have to solve without trying to, no matter what. And they say limits because it's key to. It's key to do today. Substantial basis. There's no substantial amount of use, and there's also there's no impact of this framework. And. There's no impact on the flow because we are completely topical. They failed to provide a reason why we specifically to hit them out of anything. Also, Emporia won the NET because
On the social
they
movement
ran.
as well.
Huh?
On the social movement.
Oh yeah, on the social movements. Well, Emporia won the NET. That's why we're here in this narrative debate. Is always a place where we can force people to front their anthem. We are not going to be able to talk this outside this front because people are just going to force us out. This is the only area in the world, pretty much, where people are forced to listen to us, where they're forced to confront this as foul. On to Cap K. First, they say capitalism is subject to the impoverishment. First of all, Anthro was going to be able to solve the root cause of this because we are going to be able to solve for the non-human. And they make the claim that first of all, they also fail to concede they are still confronting the anthropocentric and the disavow that they fail to recognize that when we mention non-human people, we don't just only specify the non-human animals, but first of all, non-human people as well, such as the black body or the queer body. This is an independent reason why they're. Arguments are real, and also extend there's no link. They read some large they call link, but none of them are actually relevant to the affirmative anthropocentrism and how the way in which we're presenting our round in this is going to be anthropocentric. They claim that we have to be they claim that we have to get out of the system. The first whole cross check we are not in the system. We specifically said, he specifically asked, are we in the system? And we said no. And also there was no fucking link made in the 1 in C or the 1 in R. Or they say to vote negative because it's applicable, no, and the link doesn't matter. If that's even if you, that argument's pretty stupid because you need a link to actually vote away against the affirmative. Even if you don't buy that, then you're going to vote affirmative anyway because we solve for more impact. Because we're going to be able to solve the root cause of that. And even if capitalism gods, people can still kick their dog in the face because they treat it less than them. Also, they say, even if it's too late, even if you buy that ring, it's also too late for any sort of extrapolation on a linked debate. There's no way you're going to buy this. They say that capitalism is going to be able to solve for animal suffering once again, and then people are still going to be able to treat people can still be anthropocentric without the capitalist system. Also, they're not going to be able to solve for the entirety of an entirety of oppression, and as they claim, first of all, they're not going to be able to solve for oppression outside the United States. That's what only non recognition of the human non-human binary is going to be able to solve onto the case flow. Extend the Patriot 11 evidence talking about how they have completely they're so caught up in the disavow that they fail to recognize that we need to exclude the non-human and the animal within the debate space in order for actual topical debate. And also extend the O'Rourke 11 evidence talking about the O'Rourke 11 evidence saying how wait, did I answer the perm? Okay, sorry, shit. On the CAPK perm, on the perm. Extend the perm to the plan, the perm do the advocacy through querying. This is a way of solving for the root cause of capitalism. There's no way you're not going to give us this. You're not going to give us this perm. There's no reason why the perm can't solve. The only reason the only argument they say is that the perm is impossible because it doesn't solve for is continuing energy because it's energy production. But I don't even see the link there with how we are energy production. And then they say it guarantees planetary destruction. First of all, they say it guarantees planetary destruction, but we are going to be able to gain this access for our own because we are actually solving for anthropocentric. What's the root cause of capitalism?
And crossed by the Derrida evidence, the status quo is worse than extinction.
Also, crossed by the Derrida, the status quo for the animals is worse than extinction, and death would be more pleasurable for them because currently they're living life filled with sexual torture and imprisonment. That's one of the reasons why death is going to be worse for them because death is going to be worse for them because they would prefer to have their actual lives because that's how shitty their lives are. That's the reason why you're going to wait for more over any of those sort of extinction scenarios that they claim out off of the CAPK because of
Case
How much prep did we have left?
336.
Okay, cool, thank you for starting. First, computer died.
Or just gonna be language K and then framework. And there's gonna be like a recode review on framework. It's just gonna be there.
So there's gonna be an overview on framework?
Yeah.
First
And
time
fill
for
that
everything.
separately or just on them?
Yeah, it's on framework. Yeah, it's not long enough for. Okay. Anyone already? On the language critique, Russell Blunt Johnson replied that any use of this language in the round is going to be bad. There's specific instances going to be a reason to reject the team, and you're going to cause a lot of climate into that this is going to go back and answer that we don't solve for patriarchy. That's the point. This is the key step to solve, being able to solve that any rejection of the language is going to be key. This is also impacted on coachy evidence coming to the one I want to see that literally says 80 words matter. This is going to be impacted now. This is a reason to reject the team onto framework. On the overview on framework, first off, they drop their role of the valid argument. Don't let them extend this in the 2AR. And even if you allow them to extend this, we'll win because the entire framework is going to be offense against this argument now on the line by line now. They say topical affirmative is keeping going to two key arguments. First one is that it's not going to be keeping any of our offense. We're just saying that a topical version of the app would be nice. And the point of this topical version of the app is not that you're within the resolution or you're within the topic, that you actually do a plan. We have two interpretations coming to the top of the framework and throughout this round. This is going to be the resolve we see in that law. It's words embracing and the United States federal government is in Washington. It's going to be on a cartoon 2K. These interpretations when completely conceded means you're going to vote right there because they drop the counter they drop that you should frame this through a competing interpretations, mean that the only topical version of the affirmative is one that actually enacts something that's going to be going to lose in the round because they don't actually enact any kind of plain text. They just say that they just kind of affirm the resolution. It's not going to be good enough to win this round in. They say there's no offense on fairness, but you don't get like that. That's the whole, there's going to be tons of offense because the entire framework fairness flow is going to assign a negative on this because it is unfair that we can't actually challenge. The only thing we could challenge out of coming into the 1AC was the anthro portion. There were still other portions about the querying that we can't challenge and say that this is going to be bad. This would literally be terrible to say, and it's just like they can come in here and say that necrophilia is bad, that we can't literally have offense against these kind of stuff. This is going to be the fairness debate that we had to be grounded within the resolution of plain text, and that this is also non-falsifiable. We can literally not disprove any of their arguments. The only thing we can disprove is like plain text, like a plain text where they actually have Congress or the courts do something. This is something we prove and have debate about, and it's going to be unpredictable as well. This is going to be impacted by the Shively evidence because we actually have to have limits on the topic. Literally, if they're just allowed to talk about whatever they want as long as they're closely related to the resolution, it's going to be bad for debate because it's going to explode limits, meaning that we have to be prepared for any kind of dream or rap or anything that can be talked about in the affirmative. Is going to kill any kind of ground coming out of the negative. Means we lose education, we lose all this kind of ground, we actually lose this debate. We're forced to run back into this generic CAPK. We didn't actually have anything specific strat coming into this. This is going to be a voting issue at the end of the round. And if you don't vote there, you vote on the switch side debate. Those switch side debates are going to be really cool. His only argument on this is a bunch of ethos and not much our actual argument. He's just adding emotion that we're not allowing them to talk about them. That's the whole point. You're not allowed to talk about it as the affirmative. You can talk about it on the negative. That's the point of the entire switch side debate. They have no offense on it. Why switch side debate's going to be bad? They're just talking about how we're silencing their voice on this. In total, we're not silencing a total voice. We're talking about how you can still view this in the negative round. That's what we did the last round. We had an anthro debate, and you see, and that's going to be a key. That's actually something that can be we can actually have a debate about that on the when they run this on the negative. And you're going to look to the fact that voting affirmative is not key. You can literally vote negative right now and still endorse that their affirmative is a good idea. That we should probably reject our anthropocentric ideology. That means you can vote negative and still reject the entirety of the anthropocentric mindset. That means we also win over and. There's no offense on switch side on any switch side debate bad. They don't answer switch side debate. Meaning you can vote there. Cross up with the Murr 93 that switch side debate is going to be actually better because it actually challenges mindset now. Extend the Shively evidence. This is actually we have to have to be able to know what we're debating about. We have to be able to know we have a plain text debate. That's going to be D-rule. This is literally it makes it impossible if we don't have a plain debate. Also. They said there's no impact to the framework debate. The limits debate is going to be the impact at the end of the round. You're going to look to like that they overlimit the debate, the stuff we have to be prepared for because they literally just allow for anything. Now, the only example on the social movements argument is going to be Emporia winning, but that's not going to be good enough. You look at Action and Panetta and Nine Card. This talks about how there is no audience in this room right now. It's just the judge and four debaters. It's not like Emporia happened where there's thousands of people watching like I was whenever this round happened. This is going to be like one unique instance. This is like a 1 in a million chance that the kind of project team actually comes up and does something like this. This round is not the finals of the NDT. There's not going to be an audience. Literally, I'm going to walk out, like we're going to be walking out of this room and we're not going to be talking about anthropocentric movements, and you're going to look to the fact that this is not going to be true. The best 09 evidence is going to be impact this argument out. Women can see this is the wrong place for this kind of academic discussion. Anthropocentrism cannot be talked about in this kind of discussion. It's more like a social gathering discussion more than any kind of debate, because discussion about this isn't going to be able to change anything. There's no kind of like book that can be written that challenges this end. It's going to be a bad place for movements. Also, across the man and 95 evidence that this is literally just kind of underground. It's only going to affect the people in this room that voting negative is not going to have any outside solvency. They see these kind of arguments coming out of the debate means you can vote a negative. So at the end of the round, you look at the fact that we have this. We have two interpreting what?
Impact limits.
We're gonna impact we're gonna win this league because our two interpretations are gonna be key or limits to me, because the limits to me literally is going to be the reason you vote. The Let's evidence is gonna be really good on this question.
Yeah, 5, something like that. 504.
I'm gonna grab water.
I have one more looking at this computer. I didn't open it. Didn't open it. Didn't touch it. Here, just.
You sick man.
Yeah, it was. Peter.
is this language critique, and then framework.
On the language critique, cross-apply that cross-sex, if it was used as an adjective, there's no offense on this flow. They never answered this, meaning that you're going to default that the way in which the F word was used was used as an adjective, meaning that there's no reason to reject the team, even if there wasn't a real impact or there wasn't a real explanation as to why this specific incident is a reason to reject it. It was a 2-second look at you. They don't, and even so, this rejection doesn't uniquely challenge the views of heteronormativity or heterosexuality. Only the affirmative does that. And they say cross-apply the Cauchy evidence, but the Cauchy evidence is in the context of how we have to view animals. How we view the violence against animals in war. There's no way that they read the first 3 words of the tag, not the card. There's no, it's not working for them on the framework. The lesson of this round is that you can't concede that we're top of the lap and drop our impact on the framework flow, and they still think you can win off fairness. They make these arguments that we have to default to a frame to this. We have to default and frame this round through interp. But even if you do buy that, there's no exact reason why competing interpretations means a neg valid. Or at least that's what I'm getting by the 2NR. They make these claims that it's unfair that they can only challenge through querying. But we literally through 1AC cross-site said that we'll defend the entirety of the resolution, meaning any disside critiquing the restrictions of drones, definite detention, target killings, or cyber operations would have been a good disside. We literally lost the first round because of this. There's no reason as to why they've uniquely lost ground in a world where we defend their resolution. If anything, we're granting them more ground. We may grant them a little link to the over-limiting, but I'll get on that later. They say that they said that our arguments are not falsifiable, but the genocide of the status quo, it may not be falsifiable to them because of our Pontchartrain evidence in the world where the status quo is hiding the genocides. When I go to the factory, when I go to the grocery store, and I don't see the meat on the walls as murder, rather I think of it as dinner. It's a reason as to why it's not falsifiable. If anything, a non-falsifiable argument is a solvency is a solvency multiplier for the affirmative team. Even if so, the audio clip from the 1AC checks that we've proved that the violence that's happening on is wrong. They say that we're unpredictable, but this is the reason that you vote cross-apply the Pontchartrain analysis in a world where they are saying that they're not able to relate to this is a reason why an app ballot uniquely solved, because that means that later in this round they have to go research and make sure that they don't lose against us, meaning that they're going to have to go onto YouTube and look at the scenes and all the violence and all the murder and rape that goes on within the factory farm, meaning that even if we are unpredictable, that's a reason why you're going to vote affirmative. They say that you shouldn't be running limits and ground and going for both by the 2NR. They have all the ground. They have all the ground that they should have had, but as to their limits argument, there's no unique reason as to why the affirmative, why the plan text, or why the advocacy statement that we should end the war on the non-human uniquely over-limits the topic in a world where they put the analysis that making affirmatives about dreams would be over-limiting. They don't make the analysis as to why our specific discussion is over-limiting, meaning that you're going to default to the affirmative, that our discussion is key. We're actually a topical affirmative. We're talking about the indefinite detention and violence that goes on towards the human, which is a reason as to why their limits arguments aren't really justified. They say that that we need a stasis point, but they know what we're debating. We had a plan. We had an advocacy statement. They conceded that we're talking about meaning that you're going to default that the affirmative is at least a fair enough point. When out of 1AC cross-sects will defend that will defend restricting the entirety of the military violence, or even out of the 1AC we talk about restricting all of this and how our discussion is key to that. There's a stasis point there. They could argue the military good, hedge good, any of that they learned in high school. There's still no unique reason as to why our specific argument is destroying a stasis point. We at least provided an advocacy statement, which is more than we can say for other project teams. They say that on the social movements argument, they say that this space for debate isn't key, but cross-apply on the debate space argument, they say that this space isn't key, but in any other sector of the world, when I go up to my friends and tell them that burger you're eating is made of murder, they just laugh at me and say that bacon's good and it's really fucking tasty. I don't think that their arguments as to why this debate space isn't key is very relevant here. In a world where I bring up Anthro and they actually and talk and bring up the audio clip, they actually have to answer me, which I can say is more than for my friends. This debate space is uniquely key because it makes them question, or else they lose the ballot that they value as so precious. And they make a big mistake at the end of the 2NR by saying on the social movement argument that this space isn't the key place for discussion, that we should be only talking about this on the negative. This is a specific reason as to why they marginalized us within this round. We're going to cross-apply this stands to 12 evidence that they dropped coming out of the 2NR, meaning that the way that they told us that our types of discussion, that the killing that goes on towards the non-human doesn't matter, is a specific reason as why, as an individual, that I have to go home at night and think that maybe I shouldn't be fighting for these marginalized people. Maybe I shouldn't shouldn't be trying to argue for people to recognize the violence that's going on. Maybe I shouldn't be fighting for fighting for recognition for the marginalized bodies. Their method of saying that this place isn't the right place for discussion is a method of telling us that our discussion doesn't matter. It's a method of telling us that this isn't the place. That when they say that this isn't the place, it means that they're devaluing our individual lives and they don't allow us to mourn because they're telling us that we have nothing to mourn because this space isn't key. Even if so, there's no risk. Okay, so at the end of the day, you're still voting for affirmative because that means that the negative team hasn't done a good job of explaining as to why our discussion is uniquely bad for the debate space. If anything, we're providing a fairer and more inclusive debate space when we say that the violence that the United States military conducts needs to be viewed as more than just as drone strikes in the Middle East. Rather, we need to collectively view it as the structural and social violence of the United States federal government that all of us collectively endorse with our complacency. They have never failed. They've never answered, asked us anything about the Filipino genocide. They've never asked us about the factory farm. And this is a unique reason why you're going to vote affirmative in a world where they have, throughout this round, failed to conceptualize what we've tried to talk about at the 1AC. You're going to vote affirmative on the fact that they need to confront the disavowal. This is the only way to confront their anthropocentric cleavage and possibly solve for the anthropocentric struggle that's our work evidence, no matter how impossible. We have to do the affirmative as a method of change.
You're right.
No?